I'm sorry, what? Self-promotion? Me? Hello, and welcome once again to the Video Call-In Show. My first channel ever. Channel that I created, really based on a not a fear so much, but an inability to, over the years, self-promote. What does that mean? Well, I'm a digital marketer from way back, and I've mentioned in several of my videos that that I have no problem promoting others' products and services. That kind of comes with the territory. But one of the things that I've found extraordinarily difficult is to become a self promoter, right? And I think most of us do. It's one of those things where we're all relatively private individuals. Not all of us were born with that gene that says, "Look, I got to get my face out there," right? I mean, we all know who who those people are. The first thing that comes to mind are the injury attorneys. I mean, they are masters of self promotion, but they have to be, right? Because the competition is so high. There's such a such an just an unbelievable amount of lawyers. And what was the stat I read the other day where there's more lawyers in school than there are actually lawyers out there? And that what that says is that, man, they're really going to have to work hard to get their message out, and a lot of them do. Shameless self promoters. Well, I don't happen to be that sort of guy. In fact, if you saw my bucket list video, you'll know that as one of my bucket list items, I decided to become a realtor, and it wasn't so much that I wanted to buy and sell houses. I wanted to learn the process from that angle, right? Because there's I've been doing real estate investment for a while, and but it was never from a realtor's perspective, which is really vastly different. In fact, you'll find out if you ever decide to go down that road that there are a lot of ins and outs to being a realtor. Well, when I decided to do that, I knew right away, that I was not going to be that guy with the face in the yard saying, hey, call Jim and he'll buy or sell your house for you. By the way, my name is Jim. I'm your host of the Video Call-In Show, the show that invites you to come on and talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. You can promote, you can just chat, chew the fat. I'm just a regular guy. So, back to the story. Well, in addition to that, I also had a real tough time being the consummate entrepreneur in actually finding a way to market those properties that I owned. And I know that sounds odd, but it's very similar to a Cobbler's Children has no shoes, and we're all familiar with that. In other words, we're so busy doing what it is that makes us money, we forget how important it is to get our message out so that funnel stays full. And if you're not keeping the funnel full, then you're missing the boat, and you'll find out later. In fact, I had to learn the hard way with the second business that I created. We were solely focused on the clients that we had, and when they started dropping off, and they just, clients won't stay with you for the most part forever. So you'll find out that when they do start falling off, if you don't have that funnel full, or at least trickling in new business, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt, and we did. But that's another story for another video. At any rate, I knew that my face wasn't billboard material. I mean, right? So this is really difficult for me, and I only thought of this because I was watching a video on what is it, the Think Media, and this guy Sean, he also runs or helps run what is the other one? I don't remember what the other what his other channel is. He's got a few of them, as I understand. But he was going through out as he started out on YouTube, and we can take a look at the video that I'm talking about specifically, and it's how to get your first 100 subscribers on YouTube. And I was obviously interested because, I'm still struggling for subscribers, and it's always a struggle for new YouTubers to get people involved, get people, excuse me, God, still working with that cold. I apologize. But it's really hard to get your message out there, especially if you're not comfortable self-promoting. And like I said in my other videos, and I know I say that a lot, but that's only because I ramble on incessantly. But I did say in one of my other videos, one of the reasons I started this channel was because I wanted to get over that hump, that hump that says, don't get out there, don't put your face out and expose yourself, because most of us are afraid of failure, right? So I didn't want to be afraid of that sort of, critique that comes with this sort of a venue, or, because people are going to comment and say, I expect to hear some really nasty things. It just kind of goes with the territory. That's okay. But what I want to do is I want to live on hearing about those things that we're doing right, and more so what other people are doing right. That's why I created this channel specifically. I wanted to bring in people that were kind of in my shoes, for lack of a better term. I wanted to bring people in that that could empathize and understand that it's tough starting out. I mean, it really is, and but not nearly as tough as it is putting your face and whatnot out there, and putting your persona up for critique. That's arguably the most different. So it continues to be a struggle for me. I hope that those of you who are also struggling are getting something from this. It's the typical face your fears sort of thing, where if you feel like if you feel like you can't get through it, and you can, then you probably can. So can't never could is that mantra that kills most initiatives. And like I said, I've never had any problem with starting a business that didn't have me as a spokesperson. But now I'm taking a different route, and why shouldn't I? Because there's only a small amount of time that we get to spend with each other. Why not make the most of it? And in that vein, you should really think about coming on the show and working through your biggest, I wouldn't say fears, because it's not necessarily a fear so much as it is apprehension and not feeling comfortable in your own skin. Well, I want you to break out of that with me. It's, that it's a difficult thing to do, but it's so much easier to do when you've got compadres, when you've got people in the trenches with you, right? Those what is the saying? No, I don't want to use misery loves company, but it is kind of the same thing, where it's so much easier to deal with when you've got a group of people who's dealing with the same sort of thing that you are in your group, right? So I wore blue for a reason. One, because our buddy Sean did, but two, because it is kind of a bluesy subject. It's one that's kind of tough to deal with for a lot of people, and the only advice I could give you, which is the advice that I'm taking myself, and that makes it somewhat worthwhile, and that is get out of your comfort zone. You want to talk about subjects that you're really passionate about, so do it. And like I said, in that vein, I'm missing something here. Let's see. Why is that not doing what I want it to do? Now, see, that's the thing. This is a one-man band, so whenever I feel the need to talk about something, I compile my thoughts. I may throw up I may throw up a few on screens, but really what I'm trying to do is oh, where is that video? For the love of, there it is. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, so you're going to see a whole lot of me looking around and doing some switching duties because it's not really easy to do as an individual. But anyway, like I said, I really encourage you to subscribe to this channel because those people who actually are interested in talking about subjects that make them tick, and looking to break beyond that barrier, which is the what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, the apprehension to do any sort of self-promotion at all. Those are the type of people that I'm looking for to come on the show because this gives you an opportunity to at least break the ice. And if you've got a specific product, service, or could be a YouTube channel, excuse me, something's in my eye, to promote, then this is going to be the best venue for you. And we're just trying to grow. We're trying to get more people involved, and hopefully you are one of them. So use the meeting ID right below. Whoop! Why do I do that every time? You'd think I'd know by now, but keep in mind that 90% of the time I'm behind the camera, or I should say, behind the camera. And I can direct from there until the cows come home. But boy, you put me in front of the camera, and I've got some issues to work out, which is kind of, again, that's why we're talking here today. So yeah, self-promotion, it's one of those things that you will probably have to undertake at some point in your life. And I would encourage you to. I mean, like I said, if it's something you're passionate about and you want to move forward, the only thing you can do is get over that hump and say, well, okay, now I've got to be a part of it, a physical part of it, and make things happen. Otherwise, they don't happen. Now you can hire people to do that, but I think it's very important that you become involved in that process and help it along. Now, we've been on for about 13 minutes here, and I've gone through the self-promotion blues that I know many of us suffer from. I wanted to answer a few of Sean's questions here, and this is going to be about the show, obviously, but give me a moment here to find them on his video, as I don't want to bore you with going through it. Most of the video that he's talking about your niche, right? Developing a niche, making sure that that you're slightly different than your competitors, which is fantastic advice. It's one of the reasons I chose to create this sort of channel, because I didn't even find anyone that's doing anything like this. Yeah, they're doing all kinds of interview shows, but nobody is really doing a live interview with anyone outside of radio call-in shows. So I thought I still think to this day that I've got a pretty good niche. Oh, let's see. I probably should have time coded these. Lesson learned. But I was really excited to get on and start talking about it. So I didn't necessarily have a whole lot of time to do that. But what a great guy! What a great story. His first video, if you watch that video, and I'll throw it up here again, so that you can actually go and check it out. His his first video in 2010 is so much what I think, or how I think I come off. I mean, I don't fancy myself the most charismatic guy on the planet. In fact, I know that not to be true. But it was funny to see his actual first video. Because, oh man, and we've all run into those, right? Some guy sitting in a dark room decided to produce content for YouTube or whatever venue, and they're just talking about how they might do it and what what they plan to do. Okay, so his the basics of this is it's a Venn diagram, and yeah, it's all about your USP, your unique selling proposition, and I took that to heart. I thought, well, I started the channel before I actually looked at that website, or I'm sorry, I looked at this video, and it's right on point. By the way, there's their title in case you wanted to watch it start to finish. So it's really informative. I mean, the guy has a great camera persona. But in looking at the Venn diagram, the what I do well, I don't think that is an issue. I know there's bobbles because I am a one man band here, but what what the consumer wants, that's another thing yet to be determined. I'm still waiting for my audience to build, and surely they'll let me know. And then what my competition does well, my competitors do well, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know that I actually have any competitors. I looked everywhere, and I know you're probably tired of hearing this if you watched any of the other videos, but I've looked everywhere for competition in doing this sort of thing. I mean, when you talk about bringing people on live, although a bit vetted, you I just haven't found anyone that's doing that, and that's why I was all excited about this. One, I get to talk about anything that crosses my mind, but I wanted to give everyone else an opportunity to talk about whatever crosses their mind. This seemed like the perfect format for that, especially since I'd been doing this for clients before, and they love it. It's not they're not doing a video call-in show, but the remote podcast, sort of video podcast recording and live streaming, that's something that my company, Live Switch Media, specializes in. And since I thought, well, since I'm doing that for all kinds of clients, why wouldn't I try to do something like that for myself and see if I could bring some value to not people that are looking to be my clients. I know that I know I'm throwing out a shameless plug, which is kind of a self promotion, but it's not all about that. It's more about this channel this show is more about getting people involved about what they want to get involved in, right? So everybody's got a story, everybody's got something that they want to talk about. I wanted to give them an outlet to do so live, and like I said, the only way I can do that is if you like, comment, and subscribe. Now, we've got a Facebook page, which is Video Call-In Show. My Twitter is also Video Call-In Show. And by all means, if you want to come on, but you don't want to do it live, you'd rather you'd rather be a little bit more measured about how you're presented, or the subject that you want to talk about may be a bit too touchy, and we have to talk about that first. Yeah, sorry about that. Rookie mistake. Then by all means, email me at videocallin@gmail.com, and we'll accommodate you. We'll find a time that we can both get together. I'll get you on camera just like we are right now, but it won't go live until you're A-okay with it. And that's just yet another avenue I'd like to offer my audience. So with that, we've been talking about 20 minutes. And I think that I'll probably leave it there. Again, please like our Facebook page, comment on our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very important that we grow this audience, not for monetization. I don't want you to get that in your head. I plan to run as ad-free as I possibly can, maybe work off donations so that I can, keep this channel alive, and of course, that always helps with motivation, but I'm not looking to I'm not looking to make a fortune on this. I really just want to have fun and be able to jump on whenever the mood strikes me and talk to you about subjects that I'm passionate about. But I'm as interested to get you on the show as well and talk about what you're passionate about. So follow us and make sure you click that bell icon, because until I find a specific slot to land on, I'm going to be popping up at random, mostly during the evening, so that you know. But you'll know for sure if you ring the bell on that subscribe button. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to leave you with that, and look for us tomorrow, and we will see you live.